somebody actually accused me of no longer being a collector anymore or whatever, just because I sell cards. It's like, guys, somebody who collects cards and somebody who sells cards can happen in the same person. Like, those two things can exist in parallel. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. Did a little bit of buying the other day. Shout out to the guys. I'm trying to make it a point to meet these guys next time. H-Town Card Show was this past weekend. I believe it was this past weekend. And man, what a turnout. I mean, that place was jam-packed. If there was any doubt that that the collector market is not strong in Houston, these guys over at the H-Town Card Show, man, they're doing some big stuff over there. Great turnout, great show, 2 rooms. It was probably about the size of the Dallas Card Show. Probably about, I'd say a little bit bigger than maybe 3/4 of the Dallas Card Show. It's a good size show, man. Great show. A lot of vendors, a lot of Pokemon, but also a lot of sports cards as well. And I took my boys with me. We were there, and of course they're looking for Pokemon stuff, and they're kind of doing their thing. My son did some trading. One of my other boys picked up some WWE cards. He's a big WWE fan. And so I actually did get an opportunity. One of the things I haven't done in a while is dig through some dollar boxes. And so I did some digging through some dollar boxes and pulled out what I believe to be some pretty good cards. Now, those of you guys know that I am selling on eBay. So I have my eBay store. Links in the description if you guys want to check that out. And so I'm looking for some more inventory. Now, I got a ton of inventory that I still need to put into my store. It's all right here. You guys can't see it, but there's like stacks. Like I got like, and a lot of these are cards that I've had, but I'm slowly burning through that kind of inventory, which is like the bulk, like my bulk. That's kind of how I kicked off the store, was like all the bulk that I have. So, I'm getting to the point to where I want to put some more listings in there, and I have to start buying inventory. And so these dollar boxes is where it's at. So, I went through and I went into $1 box that was actually really well organized, and I pulled out quite a bit of cards. And again, these were all $1. I think I ended up pulling out like 27 cards or something like that. And when I went to go pay the guy, I said, "Hey, here it is." I counted them out in front of him, and it was 27 cards. And he looked at me and he goes, $20. And I'm like, oh, even better. So I gave him the $20. So for all these cards, I paid less than $1. And a handful of them, I've already sold a couple, actually. I'm packaging up one right now, which is what made me kind of think of the ideas. I mean, let me do this video because I'm pretty sure there are a few of you who are experts on this eBay thing and buying and selling and all this other stuff. I just sold this card for $7. This is a Jaime Jaquez. Playing great, by the way, over in Miami. Jaime Jaquez Rookie Prism Silver that I found in a dollar box. And I just sold it for $7. I had another one. Let me see. I just sold, I believe it was a Nick Smith Jr. That I also sold. I picked up as part of that dollar box deal. I sold that for $9. Nick Smith. Actually, no, sorry, I sold that for $7.50. Here it is right here, $7.50. And then I got a bunch of other cards that I have up here. You know, cards that I paid less than $1 for that I have listed for anywhere from $3 to $8. Now, out of that pack of 27 that I had, this is kind of what I have left. So there's a bunch of good cards in here. Now, some of these are PCs, right? So I got a Cam Whitmore Express Lane, and then I got a handful of these Cam Whitmore rated rookies. And what's interesting about these dollar boxes, right, is that in a new season of basketball, you kind of have an idea who's going to pan out, but more often than not, there will be some picks that will completely surprise you. Case in point, Amen Thompson right now is one of the big ones that I'm looking at. There was a ton of Amen Thompson rookie cards in this dollar box, along with quite a bit of 23, 24 rookies and parallels, numbered cards, and things like that. But at the time that these cards came out, some of these kids were just unknown kids. And it can get pretty interesting whenever you're digging through these dollar boxes. And if you know basketball, if you know football, I think football would probably be a little harder, but if you know basketball, there's 30-something teams, 31, 32 teams. And each one of them has a starting five and a 4-man bench, roughly, of people that could potentially be something, right? And the thing about basketball that I like is that if a player starts doing well, then he's going to get more minutes. And then, if it's somebody that can be plugged in immediately to a starting rotation, he all of a sudden starts getting starters minutes and starts doing really well. So the cool thing about basketball cards is that, yes, at the beginning of the year and at the beginning of the season, you don't really know what's going to happen. And most of these guys that are putting together these dollar boxes, I would imagine that it's just a lot of bulk from like either breaks or boxes that they've opened and things like that. Maybe they were going after a certain player. They only kept those. The rest of them got thrown into this dollar box, right? And so you can find some serious deals in some of these dollar boxes. And that's exactly what happened with me. Again, this Jaime Jaquez, I paid less than $1 for it. I just sold it for, what did I say I sold it for? My bad. I sold it for $5. I paid less than $1 for it. I sold it for $5. The Nick Smith Jr. Prism Blue Disco rookie, numbered to 150. I paid less than $1 for it. Sold it for $7.50. I got quite a bit. I got this Bilal Coulibaly or Kalalabi or whatever, however you say his name is. I haven't paid much attention to his game. I mean, he's playing with the Wizards, but this is a $2 card, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but if I buy 27 cards out of a dollar box and the guy cut me a deal, I paid $20 for the cards for the entire lot. And then already with the Nick Smith Jr. and with the with this Jaime, I already made half of it back. That leaves me the other 25 cards that if I sell them at $1, $2 a piece, I mean, you're making money. You're making pretty good money. And on top of that, the majority of these, when I was grabbing them, I was just going for my own PC. This is a Cam Whitmore Prism Silver rookie. And if you know anything about Cam Whitmore, this kid's a beast. Rookie of the Year contenders. That's a Jabari Smith. I picked up this kind of oddball Yao Ming Red Prism Disco. We're not going to start another rainbow, Omar. We're not going to start another rainbow. We're not going to start another rainbow. I think I'm going to start a rainbow. This is number 200. So, again, paid less than $1 for it. There's some really cool stuff out there in those dollar boxes, guys. Here's a Disco Prism. Paid less than $1 for it. This is probably maybe a $2 card. For me, it's a PC card, so I love it. Here's another Cam Whitmore. Green. I think this is either Shock or Green. No, it's not Pulsar, but I think it's a Shock. Select, Premier, Shock Prism. Just some really good stuff out there still. Check this out. Shingun. You guys know I'm a big Shingun fan. Rookie Revolution Select. Again, not a big value card. Maybe $2, $3 that I paid less than $1 for it. Look at some of these. Look at some of these bangers. Look at this. This is Stevie Franchise, Mission Impossible, Force Field, which is for the Fleer Force was like their refractor. Just a dope card. Paid less than $1 for it. Paid less than $1 for it. Jabari Smith, Blue Reactive. Paid less than $1 for it. There's gems out there, guys. And I'm speaking mainly to those of you that are the collectors here. Because somebody actually accused me of no longer being a collector anymore or whatever. Just because I sell cards. It's like, guys, somebody who collects cards and somebody who sells cards can happen in the same person. Like, those two things can exist in parallel, right? Because I paid $27 for that big stack of cards. There was 4 cards in there that I didn't really want to collect because they're not my guys, they're not my players. But I knew they were going to make some money, so I sold those and essentially got my cards for free. I got my PC cards for free, and there's some pretty good PC cards in there. So don't. You guys are working in absolutes too much, right? It's like, oh, if he buys and sells cards, well, he's not a collector. Well, that's just nonsense. That's just nonsense. Both of those things can they can exist in parallel within the same person. If you watch my content for any amount of time, you know that I am a huge Houston Rockets fan. You know that I am a basketball fan. I love basketball. So I got to imagine that whoever posted that comment just hasn't watched enough of my content, but that's okay. Listen, point being, if you are a collector, but you are also a dealer, seller, buyer, all that stuff, those dollar boxes are gold. Check them out, dig through them, take some time, spend some time. I unfortunately didn't get to have that much time digging through because I would have loved to have dug through all of them. And there was actually a guy that was there that was kind of just digging through all of them. And I'm pretty sure he in his hand had some gems. I was particularly searching for some Rocket stuff, but I mean, you just can't pass up, rookie silvers of guys that I knew who they were. So if I know who they are, I know basketball fans know who they are, and if you are a fan of that team, then I got to imagine that you know who they are. So there's a market for them. But take a look at those dollar boxes. There's some good stuff in there. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and those are not dead. I wanted to go back the next day to the H-Town card show just by myself because I did have my boys with me, so I didn't have much time to dig through a lot of them because there was a lot of dollar boxes out there. But I want to go back and just with that in mind, take like $100 with me and just go dig through every dollar box that I see that has a basketball sticker on it and see what we can find and what we can pull out. And then kind of just try to get as much of my PC stuff for free as I can. But anyway, before we go, on another note, if you guys haven't already noticed, there is a live scheduled for this Sunday. Me and my boy JD are back. We're kicking off a new podcast called that's a tongue twister. Called the Card Culture Club Podcast. It's basically me and JD still doing everything that we do, talking all the shit that we talk. You guys are going to love it. But we're just expanding. We're not pigeonholing ourselves to just cards anymore. We're talking about everything. We're talking about sports cards. We're talking about sports. We're talking about pop culture. We're talking about whatever. It's wide open. We're not honing in on one single thing. And so I am very excited about that because, one of the things we always used to do when we would be finished with a podcast, like, man, did you hear about something? We'd spend like another 30 or 40 minutes, me and my man JD, just talking about non-card stuff. And so we're like, man, this is, we wish we could talk about that kind of stuff. But now we're going to open this up. Hopefully you guys can join us. If not, you can always watch the recording and hit the reminder thing on that on the live stream reminder so you guys can check us out. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday. We're going to see how that schedule works, and we might tweak it, but for the most part, that's That's when we're kicking off. The first one is this Sunday. So join us, hang out with us, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. Love y'all. Peace.